When you get to be 87 years old, your perspective on things changes a good bit. You find out that your sense of values change or whatever. I reminded myself of this young fellow in the National Guard that at summer camp, he took an automobile, a bus, motorcycle, and an airplane. And he was infected with what I call motion sickness. You get in conversation with this fellow, and all of his conversation was about going somewhere or coming back from somewhere. If you ask him what he did when he got there, he wouldn't know what to say.
Doing seminars all over North America, Canada and the USA, you've been in rooms in every major town and every small town, all across 2 nations. When you go to do these events and these seminars over the years, you often see the same people are reattending. They're coming back to see you again, and they want to deepen their knowledge. They want to go deeper and understand more so they can be better in their own life.
Very, very rewarding. That just tickles me to death when I see that sort of thing. But I was chasing a thought there a while ago about how people get astray so easily and get so involved in minutia. And okay, again, when you get to be 87 years old, your perspective on things changes a good bit. You find out that your sense of values change or whatever. I reminded myself of this young fellow in the National Guard that at summer camp, he took an automobile, a bus, motorcycle, and an airplane. And he was infected with what I call motion sickness. You get in conversation with this fellow, and all of his conversation was about going somewhere or coming back from somewhere. If you ask him what he did when he got there, he wouldn't know what to say. He was totally influenced by motion. He had to be in motion somehow or another. That was life. Well, there's a lot of excess baggage that you can accumulate out there in life you need to get rid of. Once you do get rid of all that sort of stuff, it's so pleasant. You have time to do some things that are important and concentrate on some things that are important and learn from other people, reading and such, by golly. I went to the reading list on our website, and I discovered there's almost 150 books on history, where there's only 103 on economics. You can't study economics without studying history. That's all there is to it. And you see the crazy things that people do and the crazy ideas that come along. But they all have that pattern that fish are the last to notice the water. Top-down thinking prevails. There's a little bit of glimmers of truth out there that appear from time to time and so forth, and that's why we do make some progress. But that pattern there will not work. It can't work. It's always going to produce chaos of some kind, and it can be broken, but it can't be broken collectively. It is going to be broken individually, and that is all.
So individually, is that you say grassroots is a grassroots method, and there's many areas where that individual...
Well, it all begins with solving the banking equation at the unity level, to the point where you do not participate in anything that goes on out there that involves loans from any type of banking organization, including mortgages. There's no mortgage here. There's no mortgage over there. There's no mortgage with my other 2 children at all. Dave's 4 kids and so forth. You know, that's 4 kids, that's 8 automobiles, isn't it? Nothing is financed outside the system. It's an aquarium again. It's all inside. Now, every time a transaction takes place out there, wealth is created. Remember, money is medium of exchange. The medium of exchange acquires wealth. Well, if you've got the microcosm there, that's why that black community in Tulsa, Oklahoma was able to do what they did. Yeah, but look what happened. Along comes all this stuff of we got to have integration, whatever. And we're right back to money turning over 3 times and disappearing. It doesn't have to be that way with anybody. But they've got to change their mindset and realize what they've been taught is wrong. They got to be able to recognize noise. They got to be able to recognize evil when they see it.
You mentioned that your children, there's no mortgages to third parties.
No.
Everything stays in the family system. You're really referencing how similar to how that community in Tulsa was able to turn over the money in their own little community.
Sure.
You've created that same environment where all the money can turn over within the family. And so by default, it never leaves that aquarium, that ecosystem that you've created, that financial system.
Right.
And so by being able to be in control of that process, when you think about part of your legacy in what you've instilled in your children and what's taking place in your family line, what comes up for you when you think of that?
Joy. Joy of knowing that they've caught on, whatever. See, Kim and Dave have been married, 79 was when they got married. First thing Dave had to do was buy a significant life insurance policy. Up until the last 4 years, see, we're trying to simplify life big time, and I'm trying to teach Mary how to be a widow and so forth. And we were leasing cars since the time that Kim and Dave were first married. We never owned a car, we leased. They bought us 3 different airplanes down through the years and so forth. This house, back in 1993, we sold this house to Dr. Barry Nash. He became a slumlord. I had a contract with him for that bottom floor, plus the parking area and so forth, and the garages. But he had a contract with his mother for these next 2 stories, and he was very generous to her for some reason or another, you know. So it's amazing what you can do if you think things through and use your imagination and whatnot. It's just like this dentist that caught on to this big time, and he saw that he needed to be the banker and he needed to have a captive customer, his dental practice. He bought all the machinery and everything in the office personally, and he leased them to his dental practice.
And so rather than his dental practice transferring the money away, the dental practice was transferring the money to him.
Exactly.
So the money
You
was
got a
staying in
cash
the
cow
family.
that you control.
Right.
It's like Scott Chapman over in Georgia said the 3 characteristics of real estate is location, location, location. The 3 characteristics of infinite banking is control, control, control. And so he would lease the equipment to his dental practice, and he'd charge them 23% interest. So how you get by with that? He says, well, what does the credit cards charge? How do they get away with it?
And so he's changing the function of who's getting the money.
Yes, right.
Right.
If they can do it, then I can do it too.
If he's paying himself at least the equivalent of what he would have to have paid elsewhere,
Sure.
he's improving his financial
Absolutely.
situation.
Yes.
Right.
See, that's why in this whole concept, interest rates mean nothing. The higher the interest rates you charge within your aquarium, your microcosm, the better.
Why is it that interest rates have been by far the most frequently discussed component?
Academia. It's a simple answer, and people love to have a simple answer to some item, and so they concentrate on rates. They know that 5 is a bigger number than 4, and that qualifies them for being a financial genius.
But this is really about the process of where the money is flowing to.
It's who is the banker in your life. That's what it's all about, becoming your own banker.